matter where you go, no matter what you do, take that Maui style with you. Cause if you ain't Maui styling, you just living on an island. Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 There is sunshine in your heart. It's been with you from the start. Lift your head, look to the heavens, then you will feel brand new again. Don't stop me now, Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Reach out your hand and help each other. Your mother, your father, your sister and brother. There is love in this family. Pick yourself up and get on your feet. Don't stop me now, Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Makena styling, up country styling, Campo styling, Kahanapali styling, Hana styling, Waihu styling, Bahia styling, Keanai styling. Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Maui styling, Maui styling, don't stop me now. Maui styling.
Hi there. This is Airielle, Dream Makers. Mama Presents, bringing to you today another wonderful, wonderful friend of mine. I am so blessed. This lady is very talented and she's a blessing to this island, actually. I think that's what I want to say. I know so many people that love her. And every time she leaves, I get to live with this lady. Every time she leaves, everybody's going, "Where is Lili?" But when she comes home, it's like, she's back. Because she's our minister of fun. That's why. Right?
That is right.
So what is her name?
Her name is Lili Townsend.
I knew that.
Me too.
Hi, Lili.
Hi, Jason.
Why don't you tell us about you, Lili?
Well, let's see. I'm a crystal with many facets. My most famous and fun one is Minister of Fun.
That's right.
Church of One, Tribe of One.
She's our prime minister of the Minister of Fun.
That's true. The Ministry of Fun is a global network of light, people that I've met on my travels all over the planet, and they all swear to live up to the credo, if it's not fun, don't do it. If you must do it, make it fun. And you get to be an honorary member in the Church of One, which says each of us has a one-to-one connection with the One. What more could we possibly need?
Especially if we want to have fun.
That's right. We're sworn to fun.
That's right. I am a sworn minister in this Church of Fun.
You're doing a great job, too. I want you to know.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, this has always been one of my life goals, you know.
Well, you know
this
what?
ministry of fun.
Fun is very zen. It's very streamlined because when you're in a place of fun, it means that everything is working, that you can rely on grace and trust, that everything is going to propel you forward on a wave in the river, and it's all going to work.
Sounds like a wonderful journey.
Well, if you have a spiritual connection that really nourishes you, it's fun. I mean, you look in the eye of some very fantastic teachers of our time, the Dalai Lama, name some. You look at the sparkle in their eye and it's there. The fun is underneath.
The Buddha's smile of the eye.
Yes.
The smiling eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You have definitely smiling eyes.
I do my best.
That's right. And you do a good job. Your
That's
best is
the
very
idea.
good.
I'm also a mermaid,
Yes, you are that.
and that gives me great joy because here in Maui, when you're a mermaid, you're between the worlds. You're swimming with the dolphins, you're in the watery element of the mother, and enthralled by the beauty of Mother Nature, the greatest teacher of them all.
And that water is such a beautiful teacher. I know I wasn't feeling well last week, and Lili went off, and she came back. And how many dolphins did you swim with?
Yes, over 60 dolphins.
She and her daughter-in-law who was visiting, and they came back. They were so beaming and glowing.
The dolphin energy transforms you. It feels like a different vibration before and after. You come out and you're so vitalized and so alive. And it's very subtle, but I think swimming in the energy field of the dolphins is a very healing and invigorating experience.
It's so incredible. There's no question. You know, I was saying to Molly, Lili's daughter-in-law, that I had this experience, I think it was the very first time I swam with the dolphins, where I just felt their sound vibrating through me for a good 24 to 48 hours afterwards. I could hear them. It was just so amazing.
It makes you very high.
It really does.
How'd you go swimming with the dolphins? Were they close by?
Well, we went out on a kayak, and at the end of La Perouse Bay, there they were, in spite of the fact that it was a very choppy day, and usually on those choppy days, they disappear. But they were out there in force, and we were able to dive off the boat and be with them, and we saw at least 6 babies. We saw them flipping over and swimming together the way they do, and it was an enchanting experience.
It's great to be able to live in Maui and have such a great playland right at our doorstep, isn't it?
It is wonderful to have the friends that take advantage of it. We also like to go out and sailboats in the wintertime when the whales have come. And the whales
Yes.
are here. The first
Yes.
sprouts have been seen.
Yes, I heard that. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, can't wait.
I
So
can't
we'll
wait.
be
Let's
out
get a
there.
boat soon. Go watch these whales, listen to them.
Yes, it's true.
So Lili has a message today that she really, well, she has a number of messages she wants to bring forth, but I know there's one specific, right?
The message that I have right now is about hepatitis C, and it's more of the unfun realm of my world, and yet the lessons and the struggle that we go through are part of the transformation. In fact, I got a fortune cookie that said, illness is the doorway to transformation. So I'm taking the high road on this hepatitis C. And I wanted to talk to you about it today because a lot of people, thousands, are beginning to receive the diagnosis that I got last January. Last January, I was told,
I remember.
you have hepatitis C. It is incurable. There is nothing we can do to help you. Later on, when there's sufficient deterioration, we can try to help you get a new liver. Well, you can imagine how I received this information. I was so shocked. I certainly went through waves of fear. By the time I got back to my car, I was thinking to myself, well, so they say that all the king's horses and all the king's men can't put Lili back together again. And do you know what? I started to laugh. I sat in my car and I laughed.
Good for you.
Well, I figure I am very privileged because my focus in life since 1979 has been holistic health and healing, looking at the whole being as an undivisible part, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. And all the sources of healing that I know about, all the magnificent healers that I know across the country, and ones that I don't know yet. And so I thought, well, this is a perfect challenge for me. I have got the deep pockets of faith to help me through it, and I have the connections of people who are very wise. And so I just took a deep breath and decided to start on a new path of healing.
And you did a wonderful job. You really did. And, there's one thing I was just thinking here that I think is so important, and that is that your attitude. Okay, just what you were saying, I sat in the car and I laughed. And, I'm going to lick this thing, is your attitude. It's not going to get me, although I think it's funny, all the pieces. But I really believe with the healing work that I do, which you and I have shared.
Which I have experienced many times, and I know that has been part of my healing.
Well, and thank you very much. And I believe that the biggest part is your positive attitude. And I really want you to hear that very clearly, because she's such a blessing. And I hear her on the phone, she's laughing, oh, isn't that wonderful, blah, 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 but it's always positive. I hear people call her with stories, and she takes it and turns it around and makes it positive. And this is what we have to do. It's very easy to get caught in the other, especially when somebody tells you you have hepatitis C, or you have cancer, or you have whatever it is that they're telling you that you have.
It's tough to work on the bright side, and yet I feel like that's my sworn mission. So I am willing and really happy to share with you how this healing has gone and what steps have been taken. And I have some statistics just based on my own healing that are very, very encouraging. So I'll give you a few steps about what's gone on so far.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
You'll be back here in a minute reading some stuff, I'm sure, to our audience.
Yes.
Hepatitis. Hepatitis C. There's a hepatitis A and a B. There's all kinds of... Hepatitis is a problem with the liver, I always had heard.
Yes, that's true.
And was this difficult to diagnose? I mean, were you suddenly feeling anything that you suddenly had this kind of a diagnosis?
Well, I have a history, and the records began for me in 1981 when I was in New York City and went for a general checkup with an endocrinologist, and he saw then that my liver enzymes, which is how you measure the functioning of the liver, they go regularly from somewhere between 9 and 37 on one of the readings and about 4 and 40 on another. So anywhere in that range is healthy. What was found in my tests were that it was up around 60, 70, which indicated that there was inflammation in the liver and there was something going on.
Was there something that caused you to go for these tests? Just a general...
This was a general checkup, but I was very fatigued and I felt very stressed. Of course, being in New York adds a lot to that. But I went for a checkup, and he asked me about these liver enzymes. He said, "Are you an alcoholic?" And I said, "No, actually, I've enjoyed a few rums in my time, but that's not really my avenue." What we came to understand was that since I'd had both mononucleosis and dengue fever, that would cause, either one of them would be capable
What's dengue
of
fever?
causing. Dengue is also called breakbone fever, and you get it in an island kind of a place from a mosquito bite. It's a cousin of malaria, and it hangs out in the liver. Also, mono hangs out in the liver.
Got
so
a busy liver.
very busy place down there.
I see. So
it's been going on a long time.
hepatitis A is one strain, B is another, and this is just something that was resistant to treatments by, is that what it is?
This one has only been discovered since 1990. They didn't have the tests before. They would refer to it as a non-A or a non-B, but they hadn't come to a specific understanding of it and identification of it. Now that has been revealed, thousands of people are discovering that they have it. They go for a routine blood check, and discover that these elevated liver enzymes are actually this particular virus,
I
which
see.
is not touched by any known medicine. Interferon has been used in regular allopathic treatment. It only works in about 20% of the cases.
Interferon. I've heard that name. They use that for other things as well?
Yes, interferon is used in elevating T cells in cancer.
Maybe that's what I've heard about it.
Yes, and
And so-
interferon is, I think, has had very success in certain areas, but not in this one. Only 20% is a very low figure, considering that the side effects of interferon include depression and deep fatigue.
Which is kind of what the whole thing was all about.
Yeah, I don't need any more of that. Plus, it costs $150 a shot, and you have to do it for 6 days a week for 6 months to even feel anything
Ooh.
from it.
$150 a shot, 6 days a week.
That's
So
gonna.
you're saying like $1,000 worth of shots every week.
Absolutely.
So, I'm going to jump out of the screen here in a second, but from what I'm understanding, if you didn't do that treatment, then you've been taking natural, quote, alternative treatments? Is that what you've been doing?
That is
Oh.
absolutely what's been working for me.
Well, you're looking good. What?
I'm feeling good. I'm actually feeling better than I've felt in years.
Yeah?
Yes.
So, what are some of these treatments, what you're going to show us when you come back here to the desk where I'm at?
Absolutely. I'm going to let you know the steps that I've taken that have brought me here to this place where I'm really feeling very much better.
Well, why don't we do a little switch around right now, unless you can talk, where I was going to say.
One other thing, and that is that you've done a lot of different kinds of alternative healing here. You know, and of course Maui is full of wonderful healers, and we're very fortunate amongst our friends and our close circle to have a lot of beautiful people available who love you so much.
Well, I think the love is working too.
The love works too, along
Love
with
is
that
working,
positive
too.
attitude. Absolutely.
So let me just show you some of the steps that I've taken.
Okay, why don't you do that?
I'm going to jump out, and Lily's going to come back to my spot.
I realized that traditional medicine had really given me the go-ahead to go ahead and try some other therapies that were available to me. First of all, I consulted Dr. Brian Couch from Maui, who is a naturopathic physician. He was able to use the diagnostic tool whose name escapes me, but it works through vibration and it helps to understand what's going on in the blood. For me, he discovered that my blood was toxic, quite toxic. In fact, too toxic at that time to attempt a blood cleansing, and wanted to work on it instead with various tinctures that I started to take that he would diagnose for me what would be helpful at this time. So these things were to support my cellular system, to build up my body, and also to start working on funguses and virus. So all of these things started to work. I also was having treatments by Airielle, which assisted very much in cleansing the lymph system, but because of course when the blood is toxic, the lymph system is very overtaxed and can't get rid of the toxins fast enough.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important that we move that stucked stuff
So your
through the
light
body.
machine helped me there very, very much. And
Good.
your echo machine as well. Can you talk about those, what they do?
Well, the light beam generator is a machine that works with light, obviously. It looks kind of like a gun and has oxygen and neon, depending on what gases, cold press gases, work with the machine. And then it moves into the stuck areas of the body. It actually works with moving anything in the body that's stuck.
So when it works on your lymph system?
The lymph system is one of the things that it was designed majorly to work with, yes, and it helps the lymph system to move and move where it's been stuck.
And what is a lymph system? The lymph system is
The
a
lymph,
lot of the non-blood toxins of our body. Is that what it is?
yes, the lymph system actually moves the toxins, moves what we want to flush out of the body through the body. The lymph system is all over the body, just like the blood system.
It's a
So-
separate system, and it actually has 3 times more volume of lymph that each one of us has compared to blood. So it's totally critical.
So
Yeah.
hepatitis is a blood disease,
Hepatitis is a virus.
a virus.
So the
Okay.
virus is in the blood, and usually toxins such as fungus are there as well, bacterias, all kinds of things make up the toxicity of the blood. And so what Dr. Couch was working on was all of this full spectrum, so that we'd be healing the blood, stimulating the lymph system, and also I was taking hydrogen peroxide in drops of water, which helps to oxygenate the blood. Also, viruses and bacteria can't survive with the presence of oxygen.
Exactly.
So it's very good to support the blood in that way. I was also using spirulina. I was using various products that help to increase the metabolic rate. I was taking, and still am, various products of bovine nature to stimulate the liver and adrenal function. So it's been a very broad spectrum of treatment.
Huh.
And then, as luck would have it, and good fortune, a friend of Airielle's, Katrina, whose name just went right out of my head, Katrina Steinberger,
Right.
visited from Phoenix, Arizona.
Dr. Katrina Steinberger.
The doctor herself, a beautiful blonde doctor.
Don't forget those words.
She was on our show once. We didn't have her as a doctor.
They didn't know she was a doctor. I don't think that's what they were watching.
She's gorgeous. And she came to be a very good messenger for me because she told me about a friend of hers, Dr. James Hutton, from Sedona, Arizona, who is working now with some suppressed technologies. He's working with technologies that are 30 or 40 years old, that were suppressed at the time by the M.A.A. powers that be, who felt that these technologies were too simple, too effective,
Whoa.
and were a threat to allopathic medicine at that time. So these technologies were really buried. It's the same story as solar. It's the same story as many things that have potential that our government has been afraid of. However, now I feel that as we're evolving into this century and going close to the next, these technologies are escaping, and they are being used more and more in a wider sense by naturopaths, and medical doctors are beginning to understand the effectiveness of using ozone therapy. I mean, ozone is everywhere now in the culture, and everyone knows about it. Everyone knows that it's anaerobic, therefore bacteria, viruses, and funguses cannot function in a blood that is high in oxygen. The second technology that Dr. James Hutton used with me is ultraviolet light. And this was a process where they would take the blood from my vein, pass it up through something that looked sort of like a toaster with ultraviolet light, which on the third dimension spectrum looks like a radiant turquoise energy. So the blood would pass up through this light, then it would go up into a bottle, and in that 100 milliliters of blood would be added to ozone. And so he has an ozone generator that they would fill up big syringes of oxygen and inject it into the bottle of blood, spin it around. The whole thing would come back through the toaster and back into my vein.
Wow.
Sort of like, what are we sort of, like the mad science we see in the science fiction movies, but it was real, huh?
But it's real and it's not mad.
Did
It's
it
very,
give you
very sane.
Did it make you feel rejuvenated as it was happening?
What did you feel?
Well, strangely enough, I actually was tired while it was going on because I had a tremendous amount of die-off, viruses and bacteria and fungus, which the lymph was processing through, and that's an
Yes.
exhausting process, so that I got a lot of rest. I did go out in the beautiful mountains of Sedona and hike every day and got a lot of fresh air and sunlight. I should
Good.
also mention that at the conclusion of the light and air, they would usually attach me to a drip. And sometimes this was hydrogen peroxide, which also has that same quality of sterilization, as well as vitamin C and bees and all sorts of things. Dr. Hutton would spend 15 minutes, or I may exaggerate, I'm not sure about the time, but he would be putting various components into my IV drip. So I would have that. I had 19 sessions altogether.
Wow.
And to answer your question, Jason, I didn't notice the difference until about 3 or 4 weeks later. By this time I was in Virginia visiting my family, and I noticed gradually that I was beginning to feel so very well. I was
Yay.
feeling happy. I became aware that for some time I've been running with a low-grade anxiety. And the strange thing was that I didn't know I had it until it was over. And then I could see, wow, this feels different. I feel different. I'm not at all anxious. All those little chitchy mindsets that I can get into, I can hear them coming up in my mind, and I just shrug them off. And I just say to my mind, that's not important, and I can just move right through it. So for me, that is how I've been able to judge it at first. Then I'd like to share with you a graph that I made, very homemade here, which talks about the 2 liver enzymes that we were measuring.
Do you want me to hold that for you?
Would you hold that up for me? Now, as you can see in this rudimentary graph, below the blue line is the normal enzyme functions. Where they start for me is up here, is where we first started testing, which is July 1996. And you can see that I started on a level. The next test was the same.
What is SGOT and SG?
These are both initials for 2 separate liver functions. They are liver enzymes, and they're the ones that I mentioned that can reveal the level of inflammatory action inside the liver.
I see.
With hepatitis C, as it says in this article, this is a silent disease until it reaches a certain point, and then it becomes very serious. So these are serious points. They go up a lot higher. In someone who has a worse case, these enzymes can go up much higher than even these. But these ranged from 96 and 108 at the highest levels, and they've come all the way down here. All these are different blood tests that we took along the way. So it goes from July 96 to September 97. And you can see that these enzymes are now approaching a level that is normal. And I can see how much better I feel. So I can imagine as I continue these treatments how I'm going to feel, and I look forward to it with great pleasure.
Do you go back to Arizona for more treatments? Is that what happens?
I will be going back. In the meantime, I'm going to be working again with Dr. Brian Couch. Oh, and this was a delicious synchronicity that happened. How about the odds against this one? I'm sitting there talking to Dr. Hutton and bragging on my Maui naturopath, and he said, well, what's his name, Brian Couch? I went to medical school with him. And he wasn't just a friend, he was a buddy of mine. so I, of course, realized that this path is very blessed and very graced with that kind of synchronicity. I knew I was on the right track, and I knew that basically all is well.
You know, you're a great testimony to the fact that a good attitude and effective natural treatment can create radiant health. I see it in you. I'm very glad to have you on our show to let people out there know that there is, just because you're diagnosed with something, you don't have to give up.
That's
There
right.
are lots of solutions that let you live not only a seemingly normal life, but a very normal life. In
Absolutely.
fact, you haven't stopped jumping in with the dolphins or anything. Nothing's happening. You still do everything.
No, nothing is slowing me down.
Yeah,
She's better and better every day.
that's right.
So I see this as a combination of the best medicine that we can have right now, and it is available to all of us. We can get the best of the allopathic and the best of the naturopathic. We have an opportunity that has really never been with humans before, is that we can combine the healing that has been known for thousands of years by healers, by shaman, using natural products that come from the plant kingdom. And fortunately now for all of us, Western medicine is beginning to really understand that we can combine the best of each of these
Absolutely.
philosophies. I mean, after all, many of the synthetic chemicals that are created by the drug companies are based on plant formulas. We do have a great deal of thanks to the research that has gone on in the big companies, because they have brought us to an incredible level of well-being.
Yes.
And yet at the same time, there have been side effects of these synthetics. For instance, petrochemical products are now being understood to be difficult for the liver and the kidneys to process. And so by and large, I totally avoid products that are made of a mineral base that has been processed in that way. And I stick instead with natural products and with essential oils.
Why don't you tell them what you're talking about with these chemicals? What the products are they should look for that they don't want to use?
You can help me on this
Well,
too.
no,
You've
go
got a
for
great
it.
deal of knowledge on this.
You're doing a great job, but they don't know what you're talking about out there, a lot
well,
of
I'm
those
talking
people.
a lot about prescription drugs that we need to be cautious with. For instance, I mean, we're really beginning to understand that allopathic medicine has been a bit loose in prescribing antibacterial and antibiotic treatments.
Yes.
And so great strides have been made in the beginning part of the century, particularly as some of these antibiotics were discovered, and cures for penicillin affected incredible saving of lives. And so we can see that there's been a progression, and in a sense we're killing the goose that laid the golden egg, because now there are viruses that have mutated to the point where they are no longer being killed off by these strong drugs.
By the antibiotics, they can't touch them.
That's right.
Well, it's like anything else. It builds its own form of resistance, and that's
Exactly.
what's happened. And, you know, what you say has so much truth to it, and it's very important for us to realize at this time, I believe, that where we stand is that we're at a crossroads. We have to blend Western medicine with all these old forms of medicine that we've had on this planet for eons. The Western medicine that we have, what we call allopathic medicine, is a gift to us and is a wonderful service. And they've also been doing surgeries for eons of time. Things like surgery are not new; they just did them differently.
And much better. And now we've got the potential for the absolute best of it all.
And we do. And what it's about blending and using preventative medicine
Oh, indeed.
and joy and positive attitudes.
And taking responsibility for our health, using discernment, because we have got a lot of information out there, and I think it's a bit alarming to a lot of people to think that there is so much going on, and who are the experts? Who knows? Well, there are some wonderful ones. Dr. Andrew Weil, for instance, from Phoenix, is putting out a lot of wonderful information. Deepak Chopra, I mean, we have got the best wide spectrum available, but it does take self-education. It does, for me, it takes consulting a naturopath and working in harmony with our own allopathic doctors, so that we are the ones who get to decide. We can weigh all the options that we receive on the one hand and on the other, and we can continue questioning, because it is a most fascinating subject.
Well, it's very interesting, Lili, because in hospitals in London, all over England, France, when someone is checked into those hospitals, and of course their form of medicine is very different than ours, and hopefully we'll get there, but when someone is checked into those hospitals, they are asked whether they want homeopathic or allopathic medicine.
Yes.
They're given a choice of what kind of medications they want. And hopefully we're going to catch up with that soon.
I think we're going to, and if only because we're having such financial difficulties in our medical world.
Well,
Medicare, Medicaid, these institutions are strained to the bursting point, and I think that we can look forward to the day when these homeopathic remedies are used across the board.
And I'm sure they will be again
will be.
very soon.
And I think it's pioneers, as we are, as a lot of friends in Maui represent. We've been exploring in these realms for many, many years, and we have built up a body of knowledge. We do have doctors who are embracing both ways, and I think that it's a powerful time for us to encourage one another to take some of these alternative routes, because now is the time.
Well, we
go
have
for it.
so many things available to us, We have allopathic medicine, we have homeopathic medicine, we have hands-on healing, we have all these new machines that are available. I mean, this sounds like, your journey sounds like space science,
Yes.
But that's what it's about now. We have these things available to bring us healing on so many levels. We now understand that our physical bodies are connected to our mental,
Yes.
to our mental health, what we're thinking about.
Well,
And
that's another part of the cure that I have been on as well, because as well as taking care of the physical in the ways that I've described, I've also been praying a lot. I have been out in nature, and for me, I believe very much in the use of ritual.
Mhm.
For me, in the work that I do, which is emotional clearing work, part of the work is called genealogical clearing, and the basis of all of my work is that I want to send messages, positive messages, to my unconscious. And in order to do that, I need to inquire what my subconscious is trying to tell me. And because the subconscious mind is truly underneath our understanding, I can look around in my life to see reflections of how and what my subconscious mind is going on about. Because everything is a hologram. It's the ancient Hermetic wisdom, as above, so below. As my life is a hologram, so in other words, if I am peaceful inside, my home will be peaceful, my relationships will be peaceful. If I still have unresolved aspects, for instance, because of my focus and my work with genealogical clearing, beginning with our home lives, with our mother's family lines and her genes, with our father's family lines and his genes. And so one way I like to talk about it, Airielle, is I imagine that we are all magnificent beings of light, incarnating through birth into a tiny little baby's bodysuit. And this bodysuit is loaded it is programmed and hardwired with all the aspects of our mothers and of our fathers.
Yes.
So I believe that is in our spiral path, which is why I wear this, to remind myself that we are on an evolutionary spiral. And
Give us a clear shot of that. Let's take a
all
closer.
right, have a look. It's actually a Zapotec symbol from the Yucatan Peninsula from about 800 years ago. And for me, it means many, many things. It's the serpent of wisdom, rising to meet the 13 rays of the sun. It's the Kundalini energy, which is something that I've also been working with to try to bring up my energy through meditation, through doing yoga, particularly outside, through spins. One of the things us mermaids do when we're out swimming, is we spin.
Spinning in the water,
We
just like those dolphins.
We spin.
They've got the idea.
To activate all our systems through spinning. So there are many ways that we can bring our body energy up. Chanting, hiking, consciously. Dancing, definitely. And all these ways. So healing the psyche is definitely part of this cure, and anyone else's. Self-inquiry is very important for us to see what things are still torturing us. Is there something that our mother says and we just rise up like a helium balloon? We realize that those are clues that we still have some triggers left that we need to work on. And when we do have a great insight, my great insight is that in that moment we can have a ritual. And that ritual might be something as simple as saying, I release from all levels, planes, and dimensions the patterns that I have inherited that have caused me to have this fear, or this resentment, or this anger. And anytime I catch myself red-handed with an insight like that, I release it. And I feel that that message goes back to the unconscious mind, and the part of my mind that was tensely holding on to that just lets go and lets in more light.
It absolutely does, and it's a wonderful thing to do. And you can proclaim your release. You can go stand by the ocean. You can jump in the ocean with it. That's
Yes.
a wonderful thing to do.
Yes.
And, not everybody out there is going to have the same insight that you have, Lili. I mean,
Well,
you're
we're each so unique.
Yes, but I just want to say this to them because you're very talented, and I hear you talking away, and I know you well, and I know how talented you are. I know how much you've studied over the years. We both have.
Yes.
And we've gone through many, many different phases of different ways to heal ourselves.
Yes.
And not everybody out there has done that.
That's true.
So I think it's important for you to not compare yourself. To
Right.
go, well, she can do it because she's got all this information and she's done all this, and
Well, that's why I'm sharing it. Because
Right.
it can take some shortcuts for you.
exactly. And I think it's important for you to understand that the biggest components here are being in joy and being positive and being active and being happy.
Yes.
Yes, it's great to go back and do all these things with your family lines and do all this clearing, but the biggest important things are things that you can do just for yourself.
Yes.
You don't have to, and you can create your own celebrations and your own sacred ceremonies or rituals if that's what you choose to call them.
Yes.
And proclaim your release. Lili does it all the time. She's lots of fun to live with.
Speaking of that, Lili, right next to you I see a real symbolic view of some of that stuff here to your right.
Yes, this
Oh,
wonderful
isn't this a
painting.
fun
Tell us what
painting?
that is. This is so awesome.
This is by our wonderful brother, Dolphin Dave. And he painted this for me as a kind of a sum up of my more shaman life. Because that's part of my reality too. And
is.
That
He-
looks like you there.
It is.
he put me in there.
And dolphins around you?
He put this amazing Aboriginal man. I've been very blessed to spend quite a lot of time with Aboriginal people in my travels around Australia. So he's put in this grandfather, and this grandfather is, with his magic didgeridoo, he's blowing through the dimensions these dolphin playmates of mine.
Yeah, it's so fun.
And he's got me in here. I love that he put me in. He's got me with one...
In the pyramid.
And he's got me behind a golden... he's got me with a golden wing there. And that is one part of me touching my heavenly self and the golden wing of enlightenment, and the other out in the open, out in the green almost, to say that my earth self and my celestial self are combining there, standing in front of the pyramid, which has a beautiful dove flying on top of it.
Great imagery.
And it has the Hunab Ku symbol from the Mayans, which they regard as the center of the galaxy. Then he also put in here a fabulous crystal, and inside is a depiction of Kuan Yin stepping out into the infinity, and held on the tree of life by the serpent of wisdom. And then he's also put in an aspect of Mama Maui there, her profile across the headland. And down below in the ocean, he's given me a dolphin sacred water temple. It's a busy place, and he's given me a wonderful big cat to be my companion. I love it.
Yeah.
It's really a beautiful painting.
It's really, it's like a spiritual...
It's lots of
journey.
fun.
It is.
And it depicts who you are so beautifully. You know, it's all these little different pieces of you that make it all so wonderful.
Well, Dolphin Dave's got a great sense of humor.
He does. He's a wonderful artist. So, you know, Lili also, I don't know if you recognized any similarities here, but we've had her mother on our show, which a lot of you out there have expressed you loved her so much. Her mother is Alcita.
Alcita.
Lili, maybe you'd like to join on the couch. Would
Well,
you like to join?
I think first she wants to share something else here.
Well, I know that you're talking about Alcita, who is my idol as far as a poet.
Right, exactly. Well, that was just what I was getting to.
Funny you should mention it.
Funny I should mention it, but
Well, I
Lili
am
is
a chip off the
also a poet.
So I write about experiences in my life, and this one entertains me a lot. I'm going to show you a photograph of a picture that appeared on the front page of the Maui News last year, and here it is. Can you hold that up, Airielle? And I'm going to read you a poem that came a little while later, came as a result of this picture. So you can imagine that having my house burned down was a distinctly unfun experience, and yet a few months later I was able to come up with this poem. Mystery woman, who are you now? Who, without veils and masks, is the real you, I ask? O Pele, thank you for your gift of sacred fire. My possessions and recollections burned upon your so personal pyre. If this is your blessing, and this is my gift, surely it's time now for a paradigm shift. I phoenix my way out of the ashes, my props from the past, of adventures and passions no longer required, only clarity desired. Who am I now? A unit of light, a point of awareness that observes my delight. A me that's expanding, who feels deeply and knows where I place my attention, the energy flows. I'm a woman of heart, so spicy and juicy, my judgments of old have at last turned me loosey. With new freedom I merge with ineffable soul. I know now it's safe to relinquish control. In the breast of the goddess I feel my strong heart. It's beating, repeating, time now for a fresh start. With renewed joy I feel so complete, to dance and to heal, new rhythms to beat. My heroine dwells in this heart so pure, the essence of me that always endures. Spirals of color, vibrant and true, flow through my being, forever new.
Yay! That was beautiful.
I phoenixed my way out of the ashes.
That is, what an outcome of this destruction.
It has been amazing. I didn't think I had it in me.
That was very, very beautiful. I know it was really big for you.
It was big. It was big.
It's not an easy thing to have your house burned
cleanse
down.
when you lose all your possessions. And I had 8 other friends who lost it in the same fire. And we really understood on a deeper level what that means, and can be a lot more compassionate to other people having challenges with their stuff.
All the stuff we collect.
All the stuff. George Carlin knew, didn't he, talking about stuff?
That's a great. People have teased me for years about that. You probably could guess, because I am such an accumulator of stuff.
Such great looking stuff, though.
I love it. I have another one you wanted to
This
share
one
with
is
us,
a little
right?
bit naughty.
It's
I
a
hope
little
it's
bit
gonna be
risque.
all
I
right.
hope that they don't classify this in our show.
Well, we'll mention it. That way they'll put it on a different hour. I don't think it's that risky.
No, I don't either.
No, it's not bad.
But this is about, I think, my greatest teacher in my life, and where my inspiration is absolutely guaranteed is in nature. And so this one's about trees. Moved by trees am I, unique expressions of strength, grace, whimsy, awe. Upturned legs, tree beings diving into Mother Earth, provocative crotches, silky pine needles soften barked curves of yoni and dick. Mossy crevasses, dewdropped, luscious, upthrust branches strategically placed. Young trees, lithe, coltish, ancient trees, grizzled, wise. Your leafy antenna transmute light, earthing the universe. Healed by trees am I, knock on wood. Bless you, trees, for your silent meditation. I dance in your flowing field. You unite heaven and earth, as above, so below.
Yay! That's so beautiful. I can just picture these trees diving into the earth, you know. Like,
It's so great.
I
'cause
love that
once you see
picture. I had
them-
never had that picture before.
Once you see those upturned legs, you laugh. You walk through and you say, "Oh, look at this one.
Their legs
Look
are
at
up
this
there.
one." And then when I went to New Zealand and spent some time with Maori people, I understood that that's part of their creation legend.
Oh, really?
That the tree beings dive in
They
from
do.
space, they dive into the earth, they leave their legs, and they keep on going to the center of the earth.
Oh,
Don't you love it?
wow, how wonderful. Why don't you come down here and give me a hug?
All right. All right, darling.
Okay, my darling.
Thanks, Airielle. Thanks, Jason.
It's been such a pleasure to have you today on the show.
It has been really fun for me.
You're such a delightful, delightful woman, and so talented in so many ways. And it's really a joy for me to be able to bring her to you and share how wonderful she is with all of you. I hope you have had the same great experience of her that I have. And I thank you for joining us. Anything else here you want to add?
I'm delighted to be able to share this information. May it go forth and inspire others to take control of their healing with grace and faith and fun.
Thank you, Lili.
Thanks,
You-
Airielle.
You are an inspiration, and I really hope and pray that so many of you out there today have gotten inspiration from this and know that you too can make these changes in your life And you don't have to sit back and say, I have this, therefore I can't do anything about it. You can. You can. We can.
We do.
And we are all one. So God bless you, and aloha.
Aloha.
No matter where you go, no matter what you do, take that Maui style with you. 'Cause if you ain't Maui styling, you just living on an island. Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 There is sunshine in your heart. It's been with you from the start. Lift your head, look to the heavens, then you will feel brand new again. Don't stop me now, Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Reach out your hand and help each other. Your mother, your father, your sister and brother.